record to the cloud. Okay, great. All right, here we go. I'm going to let folks in. Hi, folks. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us. I think at this point, most of the folks who had registered are in the space. And since we're starting a little late, we were having a little bit of audio technical difficulties. So thank you so much for your patience. And let me just real quick, just double check that I have my notes in front of me. Okay, great. Thank you again all for joining us. My name is Sarah Hashi. Before we begin, just a couple little housekeeping notes. Vernicia, could you submit the first poll for folks? We just want to get a sense of folks' language needs before we go into tonight's program. Oh, you're muted, Priscilla.
Bienvenidos esta noche. Estamos haciendo una encuesta para ver si alguien necesita traducción en español. Por favor, llene la encuesta para dejarnos saber si necesita traducción en español.
So folks, if you're able to, if you could please just submit to the poll before we begin so we get a sense of folks' language needs before we start tonight's workshop.
Por favor, si necesitan traducción en español, por favor déjennos saber a través de esta encuesta.
Okay, in the meantime, so far we have just English. In the meantime, I am going to, oh, we have 6 for English, okay. Priscilla, I'm gonna do just the rest of the intro, and if I'll take some pauses so that if there is anyone who does need Spanish as folks are submitting, we can at least get that covered. So again, hello, welcome to this month's edition of our Wellness Wednesday workshops. So far we have English only. Do we want to proceed just as is with English? Okay, sounds good from Priscilla. Okay, great. Thank you so much all for your patience all. So again, my name is Sarah Hashi. I am the co-director of creative content for social and video and the project coordinator for this project. I'll explain a little bit more about this project as we get into tonight's introduction. But this is a workshop series that is hosted by Priscilla Espinoza of Sprout Change and her mother, Maria Rodriguez of Germinemos, and it occurs every third Wednesday from now until August of this year. This month's focus is on healthy aging for optimal energy, increasing immunity, and healing naturally with sprouts, food as medicine, natural herbs, natural remedies, and herbs. Wellness Wednesday workshops are funded by the UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital, with a focus on free health and wellness programming for residents of North Central Massachusetts. This workshop series is also in collaboration with the Bigelow Free Public Library in Clinton, Massachusetts. Thank you all for your patience if you did sign up with us today. We had original plans to host this workshop, both virtual and in person at the Bigelow Free Public Library, but for today's workshop, we did decide to go for just virtual for tonight. So we do hope to see you for our next one. Our next workshop is on February 16th with a focus on heart and lung health. It will be held at the same times. We do host this workshop also at 10:30 a.m. on sprouting and 6 p.m. to 7:30 on, as we said before, food as medicine, natural remedies, and herbs. We do hope that you can join us either on site or virtually, and keep your eye out in our newsletter for registration for the coming months. And we do have a link ready to go on our Eventbrite if you do wish to register for next month's event. 1 second. Just want to go over a little bit of Zoom etiquette before we hop into tonight's program. Priscilla will be teaching today's workshop in English, as so far I'm not seeing any requests for Spanish. Just want to double check. Okay, perfect. But feel free to chime in with questions in the chat while Priscilla presents tonight. And for the final portion of the event, we will have a more formal Q&A, and we do encourage your further questions and dialogue during that portion of tonight's event. We are also recording the event via Zoom, and we'll be posting a post-event recording to YouTube in the following weeks. With that, that's pretty much all it is for me. I'm going to hand it over to Priscilla, and please join me in welcoming Priscilla.
Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. Are you able to hear me well? You can just do a thumbs up. Good, great. We just wanted to make sure you can hear us. And so tonight's presentation, as Sarah said, we're doing healthy aging. Our workshops are sponsored by UMass Memorial Health Alliance, Clinton Hospital. And Sarah spoke to you about every Wellness Wednesdays taking place every third Wednesday. We have a winter sewing workshop coming up on Sunday, February 6th. We can share details if anyone's interested. You can mention in the chat that you're interested in the winter sewing workshop. This is something brand new that we just released information yesterday. And we also have our No Dig Garden workshop series happening in March through August. And stay tuned for those details. We're going to have the events coming up soon on Eventbrite, as well as our website and our social media. And for those who follow us on our newsletter, you'll also be receiving the link for the registration for our No Dig Garden, which is a sustainable way of gardening where you use less resources, less energy, less water, less work, and you can grow more in less space. Welcome to Sprout Change. Sprout Change helps you sprout change using food as medicine, natural remedies, and herbs. Our social mission is to empower the everyday person to reclaim their overall health naturally and autonomously. And for Sprout Change, our vision is for Sprout Change to be a global transformative grassroots movement to help the everyday transition to healing foods and diet and lifestyle, as well as to regenerate our shared earth and natural resources in a resilient manner. I would like to share with you a disclaimer. Today's workshop is not a substitute for medical advice. The information provided by Germinemos and Sprout Change in media outlets while campaigning at workshops or during one-on-one consultations are for general information only and are not intended to provide medical advice and should not be relied upon as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Healthy aging using food as medicine, natural remedies, and herbs. Today, the participant will learn how to use food as medicine, natural remedies, and herbs, plus tips for healthy aging. These products include leafy greens, apricot seeds, herbal tea, okra, moringa, cucumbers, and cabbage, things that you may have in your home already. And so I'll share with you a little bit, some more great tips on those. At the end of the workshop, we hope that the participant will be able to obtain indispensable education on how to use these basic products as a healing food or herb. This way, they will be able to better manage their healthy aging for themselves and their family member. So we'll get started with food as medicine. And in the background, we have some sprouts. And I'm not sure if anyone's aware from my mom's workshop, sprouts have many benefits, including that they're a superfood, they're full of vitamins and minerals. And in particular, cruciferous sprouts are known to be preventative in cancer. So that's one way of making sure that you are living a longer, healthier life. We also, there are also antioxidants in sprouts, and there are certain vegetables that have antioxidants. We'll talk a little bit more about those later. And those also are wonderful for health promotion. The top daily nutrients that we need to maintain optimal health are omega-3 fats, iodine, zinc, magnesium, which we need for our nervous system and mental health, vitamin D, also for our mental health and immunity, iron, calcium, B vitamins for our nervous system and mental health, antioxidants like vitamin C, resistant starch, probiotics for our gut health and mental health, prebiotics, which help feed probiotics for our overall mental health and immunity, and chlorophyll, which actually helps cleanse our blood. And our blood goes all over our body, carrying oxygen as well as transporting essential nutrients to our organs. Specifically for tonight's healthy aging, we're going to talk a little bit about apricot seeds. And apricot seeds have been found to be wonderful for arresting cancer in cells. And so this may be something that may not be part of a lot of people's regular diets. And so it's wonderful to consider in your morning bowl of cereal or in your afternoon snack to eat a few kernels of apricot seeds as a way of maintaining optimal health and preventing cancer that could cut your life short. Omega-3 fats are healthy omega-3 fatty acids, and these can be found in seeds like flax seeds, which it's better for you to grind your own flax seeds so that they don't oxidize, in chia seeds, in hemp seeds. You can find them in cabbage, and we're going to feature cabbage. It's a wonderful vegetable, especially if you have a humble budget, to always have in your home, not only for your own health and well-being, but also for natural remedies. So I'm going to share with you one natural remedy that you can do with cabbage. You can, in the brassica family, we have cauliflower, broccoli, bok choy, Brussels sprouts, and brassica family vegetables are best cooked or cultured, and that means fermented to be able to digest them easier. Beans such as mung beans, navy beans, kidney beans, and soybeans are high in omega-3 fats. And leafy greens, we're talking arugula, spinach, romaine, and purslane, which is considered sometimes a weed, and it's actually a wild edible. Vitamin D, so taking a morning walk or just peeking your head outside your window, or going out really quickly in the winter time to just get some sunshine. An interesting thing is that calcium is best absorbed when you are actually using vitamin D. So either you're taking a vitamin D supplement with a calcium supplement, or you're eating a calcium-rich food and then getting some sunshine, being exposed to sunshine. So it's a fun fact, and calcium can be found in sesame seeds, broccoli stems, seaweed, and dark leafy vegetables. And this is me getting some sunshine while farming in the summertime. And additional nutrients that we need are iron, B vitamins, and vitamin C. And iron we can find in white beans, dark leafy greens. And a fun fact is that in order to best absorb iron, we need to consume them with vitamin C rich foods. So you can think of citrus vegetables, like if you're going to eat leafy greens that are rich in iron, squeeze some lemon on top. And that way the vitamin C in the lemon will complement the dark leafy greens, or maybe you steam some kale or steam some collard greens, just squeeze a little bit of lemon on top and season it as you normally would. And that way you can better absorb the iron in those vegetables. B vitamins or B complex, which include B1, B6, B3, and B12, and folate are found in whole grains, nuts, seeds, dark leafy vegetables, and in root vegetables like cocoa yam and taro root. And these you can find in a Caribbean market or an African market or an Asian market. Markets that have foods from the tropics will have these root vegetables that are rich in B vitamins. And antioxidants, for instance, vitamin C can be found in citrus fruit, kiwi, in bell peppers, berries, cayenne pepper, as well as cranberries, which we're going to feature later on today. And prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics are fiber-rich foods, which are beneficial bacteria in our gut need to feed itself, to be prolific and healthy. And this we can find in whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and legumes. And Our probiotics are beneficial microorganisms in our gut that support our overall immunity and our mental health and well-being. And I teach workshops on how to make your own probiotics with cultured vegetables. So stay tuned for that information. I really love teaching these workshops for making your own superfoods. And lastly, but not least, we're talking chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what it makes plants green. And this chlorophyll is very closely, really closely looks like our blood, our hemoglobin. So it's a wonderful blood cleanser. And so we can find chlorophyll in leafy green vegetables. We can also find chlorophyll in sprouts that have already had a little bit of green in them from the little leaflets that come out. You can also get chlorophyll from supplements such as spirulina, which is a type of seaweed that naturally has chlorophyll. And this is very, very essential for optimal health and longevity. And we're going to go over natural remedies at this time. A wonderful remedy I like to talk about, which is a non-invasive way of maintaining optimal health, is to do hydrotherapy. And the reason being, it's because it's good for all ages and it's good for almost any symptom. So if you have pain, if you have restlessness, if you're feeling stress, if you're feeling even lethargic or tired, it's a wonderful way of getting more circulation and blood flow. And by increasing your circulation and blood flow, you're also increasing oxygen flow into your body and into your organs. And that will give you a little bit more energy and a little bit more of a relaxed state. And so I enjoy doing hydrotherapy with hot water as a bath with Epsom salt. And Epsom salt is rich in magnesium. And so we need magnesium for our nervous system to feel calm. And unfortunately, there were times prior to the 1960s where our vegetables included a lot of magnesium in their nutrition profile. However, because of mass farming, our soils are depleted and they're not as mineral rich as they used to. So it is good now to consider alternative sources of getting magnesium if you're not eating sufficient vegetables. Hydrotherapy reduces inflammation, and this is wonderful to think about when you are thinking about healthy aging. Sometimes poor aging or too fast aging is happening because of stress, and the stress leads to inflammation, and then the inflammation leads to a cell breakdown. So instead of our cells regenerating, our cells are breaking down and not regenerating as quickly. And so we want to do as much as possible, introduce treatments that are reducing our inflammation to support our overall health and extend our quality of life. And you might be wondering, how do you do a hydrotherapy? My best way of teaching my clients that have a busy lifestyle to implement hydrotherapy is to do a quick shower of 3 minutes as hot as you can, 1 minute as cold as you can, and then you repeat that 3 times. If, for instance, you have a certain part of your body, let's imagine it's my wrist. I broke my wrist, the cast came off, it's still a little bit swollen. What I can do is I can just put my wrist submerged in a bucket of ice cold water, and then I could do that for 3 minutes, and then I could put it in another bucket of hot water, and I can alternate hot, cold, or you could do that with your feet if you want to give yourself a foot bath. So you can do hydrotherapies on different parts of your bodies. You can do it also with a towel. So maybe you have somebody that's in bed and they can't really move. You can use, a towel that you put in ice cold water, and then you put it in hot water, and you can do this alternation. So this is a wonderful non-invasive way of reducing inflammation, of reducing pain, of increasing circulation. By increasing circulation, you actually increase healing because you're getting more blood flow and more oxygen to the area. And the tissue repair and the cellular repair speeds up much quicker. compresses and poultices. I'll be showing how to do compresses and poultices in the demonstration. These are external applications that you can use with certain plant materials or products, and they help remove toxins. They're also anti-inflammatory. They have healing nutrients. They have minerals, vitamins. They can reduce pain and also increase blood circulation. So if you're feeling like, I want to increase my circulation and I want to do something anti-inflammatory, but I'm not really feeling hot, cold, contrast showers or a bath right now, you can actually do a compress with cabbage, which is wonderful for bruising and arthritis, or you could do one with castor oil. And so castor oil is really wonderful, even if you're trying to extract some toxins or break up malignant cells that are clumped together. Maybe you have some swelling or maybe just a lump. You can put a compress of castor oil and you can keep that castor oil. It's also called a castor pack. You can keep that overnight or for a few hours, and you continue that daily until the symptoms improve. And so the next thing we're going to show is, here is a cabbage compress, what it looks like. And I have a little small picture of a cabbage stir fry that I made in the upper right hand corner. And then in the bottom right hand corner, there's just a little bit of highlights on benefits that cabbage has. So I like always having cabbage because you can do a quick emergency first aid. And you also have a wonderful source of vitamin C, vitamin K, and vitamin B6. So it's very humble and it's very nutritious, and it's wonderful for any type of pain that you might be experiencing or inflammation. Herbs that I'm going to feature in tonight's presentation for healthy aging are hibiscus, lemongrass, basil, dill, cayenne pepper, and moringa. And the reason I'm featuring hibiscus is because it's very wonderful as a high vitamin C and antioxidant rich herb. It's actually a flower. And so if someone is experiencing, maybe we're going to also feature it next time for heart health, but overall for just anti-aging, foods that are rich in vitamin C or antioxidants are anti-aging. And so they help maintain our cellular system consistently repairing itself. It gives us the nutrients that we need to naturally repair ourselves. So this is wonderful. Lemongrass is also rich in antioxidants. And we have basil, which is good for our nervous system. When our nervous system is really overwhelmed, we start experiencing inflammation in our overall body. And so we want to do things that help support the reduction of inflammation in our bodies. So unfortunately, we're all in this time that we're experiencing the pandemic. So how do we reduce our stress levels? What foods, herbs, and medicinal remedies can we take at this time to help support our nervous system, to reduce our stress levels, to reduce the inflammation, so that we can navigate these challenges that we're experiencing at this time in a more resilient manner. So I love basil for this, and I will show you a recipe how I make a blend with basil for an herbal infusion. So it's not just for your pizza, you can also have it for as an herbal infusion in your tea. I also like dill for my nervous system. It's a wonderful tonic, so I'll be featuring dill also very quickly. Cayenne pepper, very rich in vitamin C and antioxidants, so that's a wonderful staple product to have in your kitchen. And next month we'll be featuring it for heart health. So join us to learn why cayenne pepper is good for your heart. And moringa. Moringa is a superfood. So moringa is probably the one thing some people may not notice on this list. And moringa comes from the tropics. It's very well known in India and African countries, some parts of the Caribbean, and it's becoming more and more well known in North America. And the reason it's a superfood is because it's very high in vitamins and minerals. So if I tell my clients, if they needed to start with one supplement besides turmeric, I would say the next supplement should be moringa, because it's like getting a multivitamin just through an herbal source. I'd like to open now the floor if we have any questions before I do the demonstration. And if we don't have any questions, then I can start the demonstration. Would anybody like to ask anything? All right, we're going to start the demonstration. Oh, we have a food as medicine poll right now. So while I get ready to transition, I'm going to turn my presentation off to transition to my demonstration. You can take your poll. And ladies, if you can provide me a time check. I did not look at the time. Okay, great. What does that mean?
You're perfectly on time.
Okay, great, thank you. What time is it now?
6:36.
6:36, thank you. So I mentioned the apricot seeds, and I had done a study about longest living people, and most of you may be familiar with the blue zone people. At least I was. And these are people across the world that live to be 100 years or older. And these blue zone peoples are in different parts of the world. We have them in northern Japan. We have them in California and Loma Linda. We have them in Sardinia, Italy. Thank you. I'm getting some tech support so that I can present better. So thank you for that, Sarah. We have different areas that have blue zones. Today, I'm going to talk about one population that is not very well known and also lives to be over 100 years old. They're even known to have kids in their 60s. And that's the Hunza Valley people in Pakistan. They're surrounded by mountains, and so they have a very safe environment. They don't even have policing in their environment. So that's already one way of reducing stress is, you don't have all these sirens going on. There's no policing. And another low stress is that they have a lot of fresh air. When you're getting consistently a lot of fresh air, that really supports your nervous system and your heart health. In fact, breathing exercise is one way of using a healthy coping mechanism if you're very stressed. So we want to be really mindful of our stress levels, because stress causes inflammation, and inflammation causes degenerative aging. And so we want to look at anti-aging. What can we do to reduce the bad ill effects of aging unnaturally? And so we want to reduce stress and increase foods that are high in antioxidants and different minerals and vitamins. The Hunza people in Pakistan, they eat a lot of apricots, and say that, and in fact, when they're starting the year, they do, so let's start from the harvest, when they harvest. They harvest their food, they store some of their food, they eat all their food, and in the winter time, they actually go through a period where they run out of food, so they have to eat sprouts for about 1 month, and they just do sprouts and tea. So I'm going to start some tea right now. And I'm going to show you some sprouts that I have. So sprouting in the winter time is a wonderful way of getting some vitamins and minerals. And my mom talks about those workshops in the morning. So join us next month to learn about different things that you can sprout. So I have right now mung beans that I sprouted and fenugreek. And I love fenugreek because it's very good for joint issues and bone health. It's very good in minerals, and also good for women that are lactating. It's good for getting extra a milk supply. So the Hunza people, they run out of all their food in the wintertime, and they're actually eating sprouts because that's all they can do with their grains. There's no fresh foods that they can consume. So for 1 month, they're fasting. While they're fasting, they're consuming sprouts and they're consuming tea, a lot of tea. And tea is another way of getting antioxidants into your diet. So we're going to make a tea with lemongrass, basil, and this looks like your regular kitchen basil that you would probably put on your tomato salad or on your margarita pizza. I'm going to use some mullein because mullei's really good for lung health, which we'll talk about more next month. And mullein, I really like it because it has antiviral properties. So again, this is not a substitute for medical advice. We can just do the best we can with plant foods to boost our immunity. And some hibiscus. I sweeten my herbal blends with stevia leaf. So that's the plant. And I get a lot of my herbs in bulk. So I'm going to make a tea bag. And I have these fun tea filters that I got at a tea shop here in Worcester. They import them from Germany. So I love these because when I was in Germany, they use these tea bags too. And you get a lot of the plant and it's very thin. And it's also a very safe material for consuming your herb. It's so you also don't get that sediment that sometimes when you strain it with, like a mesh strainer, you sometimes get a little bit of sediment from the plant, from the loose leaf herb. So I'm going to do, this is about where is it? Well, it's about almost 2 cups mason jar. So I'm going to fill this mason jar to 1 cup. So for 1 cup, I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of loose leaf herb. And because I'm making a blend, I'm going to actually do 3 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon each of a product. And so for this particular blend, this high antioxidant rich blend, I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of hibiscus flower. And it's going to give it a nice rich color. I'm just going to do a little bit more because hibiscus is quite loose. So I don't know if you can see, but maybe if I take a little petal, the petal is doesn't fit neatly in my teaspoon, in my measuring spoon. So that's 1 teaspoon of hibiscus. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of lemongrass. I like buying loose leaf herb because you actually get a lot more value for your dollar, and then purchasing only prepackaged tea. I do buy prepackaged tea for more like quick servings for myself if I'm on the go and I need to make tea very quickly. And so I want to stay warm, I want to stay healthy. I'm actually going to do half a teaspoon of the mullein. So this is going to make our recipe actually 1 tablespoon plus half a teaspoon. So it'll be a little bit, just a tiny bit more, much stronger. I don't think it'll be too strong. But the ideal recipe for 1 cup of water is to do 1 tablespoon. So I did 1 teaspoon of hibiscus. I'm doing 1 teaspoon of lemongrass, and then I'm going to do now 1 teaspoon of basil. So we're getting some support for our blood. We're getting some support for our nervous system. We're getting some antioxidants to help reduce inflammation, reduce our stress levels, and some mullein for maintaining our immunity high at this time since it's antiviral. And I'm going to have this steeping while I present to you the other items that I'm going to present in today's presentation. So I'm tying this into a little knot. I'm going to pour some hot water so that that could steep while I go into the rest of the presentation.
while you're pouring, hopefully folks can hear me in the background. I'm also in the room with Priscilla and Sarah. We have a question in the chat that asks, do you only use the petals of the hibiscus or other parts of the plant too? This is from Christy.
Oh, that's a great question. The hibiscus I source is probably coming from a tropical country. It's from, the original source is from Mountain Rose Herb, which sells herbs in bulk from the shop that I get the herbs from. And I don't get it directly from Mountain Rose Herbs because I don't buy enough loose leaf herb to do it. So I only get the petals. I'm not sure if, unless somebody's growing it, I'm not aware of anybody that has successfully grown hibiscus that tastes like the one that grows in a tropical country. So I guess you could say like astringent. So I would say it's not as intense, the flavor. So no, I don't use other parts of the plant. And I actually put way too much water. So I'm gonna take some of this water out so it doesn't steep completely. I know what I'll do. I'll put it, I'm going to show you now what I do in the morning. So I want to get 1 cup. There we go. I want to do 1 cup, the exact recipe to 1 tablespoon of herb, because I want to show you how the colors look and like how it's going to look in color once it completes. Another thing that keeps the Hunza people living a long life is that they have a direct water supply from the mountains. And so they're drinking mineral-rich water. And their mineral-rich water, another thing that helps is that because it's fresh from the mountain, it's full of oxygen and it's structured. So I don't really have a lot of time to go into structured water. However, I would recommend that for those of you who feel that they're middle level or high level into healing foods and diet and lifestyle, I would highly recommend you to look into the water having energy and water being structured, and how water that comes from a mountain source or a fresh source or a mineral source is much more energetic and life-giving than water that's coming straight from the pipes. And you can structure your own water, so you can filter your own water, and you can do things to make it go into its natural molecular shape. And that will give it some energy, some life-giving power. So I'll show you what I do in the morning. So I do oil pulling every morning, which is our Ayurvedic technique. And I drink either lemon water, or because we're in the north, I drink cranberry juice. And so I have this pure cranberry juice, and I make it, it's still a vitamin C source. So I substitute the cranberry juice instead of lemon juice, and I drink it with some water. And in my afternoon, if I want something just fun and exciting to drink, I'll have some pure cranberry juice and some mineral water. And now I have a mocktail, you know, and this is a fun, fizzy drink that you can serve in special occasions. And there's no alcohol, and there's a little bit of carbonation. And so it feels exciting, and it's high antioxidants, and cranberries are close to our northern climate. So, you know, you could either drink lemon water, or if you're in a southern climate, we have Camilo in California, so he can drink some lemon water. And for those of us in the north, we can drink some cranberry water. So that's
Salud.
one way of getting some antioxidants.
Salud.
Saludos. Hi, Camilo. So another thing that I really appreciated about the Hunza Valley people is that after they fast for 1 month, while they're fasting, they're just eating, then the springtime comes. So they're fasting and they're only eating sprouts, water, and tea. And we have 1 tea here. I don't think that this is the recipe that they have in Hunza Valley in Pakistan. However, I do think that they may be using other herbs that are local to them. And those herbs, you know, most plants have a lot of, they're rich in vitamins and minerals. And so they probably have something local to them that's high in antioxidants, which is, you know, stress reducing. And so they go through this fasting period, and then they go through a period where they eat the fresh green fruits. And so they have a lot of apricots, and so they eat a lot of apricot juice when the fruit is still green, so it's still unripe. And then once they start having more items that become ready to harvest and to eat, then they go back to their traditional diet. And the Hunza people do eat meat. They just eat meat on special occasions and in moderation. So most of the Hunza diet is based on vegetables and healthy carbohydrates, whole carbohydrates. We're talking grains, carb vegetables like root vegetables, and fruits, and leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables. So I'm going to now talk about one vegetable that I've been really enjoying right now. And it has a lot of benefits for anti-aging benefits, and that is okra. So okra might not be something for everybody. I don't know if you could see this, maybe a little bit. And the way I like okra, I never really liked okra how it was prepared before. I felt that it was too slimy. So my adult version of okra is actually very little water, and so I steam it. And I steam it very quickly, or I eat it raw. And so this okra was already steamed in very little water, so it pretty much cooks in its own water. It's still nice and green, so I didn't simmer it so much that the chlorophyll went away, that the green of the plant went away. And I'm going to show you how I prepare it for myself. So lately I've been liking this as a dish. And so okra, I just learned too that parts of okra are actually used in anti-aging creams for women because it's high in collagen, natural collagen, plant collagen. And so the okra collagen is actually used in anti-aging creams for women. So for those of you who need extra collagen, you know, okra is your plant for your bones, your teeth, your hair, maintaining some nice glowing skin. So I'm gonna take my collagen-rich okra and I'll show you how I like to eat it. I have some Himalayan salt here. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of Himalayan salt. I have some extra virgin olive oil here, some cold pressed olive oil. I put a little bit of olive oil. And that's version 1. I'll show you how my sister likes it. I like it just like this, very plain and simple. My sister really likes spicy foods, so she puts cayenne pepper on hers. Actually, let me get a different cayenne pepper. So you can look at this cayenne pepper while I go get the one that's open. So my sister likes to put cayenne pepper on hers, so I'm gonna put a little bit of cayenne pepper. And it actually looks really beautiful, the color. I don't think you can see it, but I'll show you. I think it's something so simple that, you know, you just steam this and just a little bit of red on top, the dash of cayenne pepper on top of the okra just makes it just pop a little. And my sister, I do this every once in a while, but my sister really loves actually putting some lemon juice on top. So I learned that from my sister. So every once in a while, if I'm feeling like I can be a little fancy, I'll make my okra have a little bit of lemon. So for those who like their things a little tart or to have more dimension, more complexity, and that's one plate and you're getting your collagen in there. And let me see how this came out. Fantastic. So I'll finish that later. Excuse me. The next thing I want to prepare for you is how I make my salad. Sorry. I took my spoonful too fast, too eagerly. So I have some arugula, some watercress, some baby winter greens, some do-it-yourself mung bean sprouts and do-it-yourself fenugreek sprouts. And honestly, if you're new to sprouting, you can start with what you have at home. You might have some lentils, you can sprout lentils. And so that way you're getting something that's you know, your own homemade superfood. Is full of energy and it's full of nutrients, vitamins. So I thought I had a bowl. Oh, I do. Here it is. So I'm going to put some winter greens, some baby winter greens here, some arugula, mix that up. And so we spoke earlier in the presentation how it's important to eat leafy greens for healthy aging benefits. And so I'm making a typical leafy green vegetable that I would make for myself. So I try to do an assorted amount of vegetables. And with the watercress, I had pre-washed this myself, but I hadn't cut it. I'm just going to chop it up a little bit. And I'm not going to chop it so finely because I do like it to have at least 1/2 inch to 1 inch diameter in the stems. And I feel that that gives it a little bit of crunchiness when it's mixed up with the other, with the arugula and the baby greens. And I'll add the sprouts last. I'll put some lemon juice. And you can, I would say to, unless you like your salad marinated, I would say dress it right before you eat or when you're eating, or dress it when you're at the dinner table. Or make the salad dressing separately, but don't dress your salad in advance because it's going to wilt. The lemon juice is going to marinate it. So unless you want a marinated salad, don't add dressing to it. And then I'm going to add some salt, and salt will also wilt it. It's going to marinate it. So you want to do this right before serving it. And some olive oil. Lately, I've been really into dill. So I've been adding it to different recipes. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of dill to this. What I've done with dill is that I'll buy it fresh, I'll wash it, and then I dehydrate it. And I don't use a dehydrator. I do have a dehydrator. I don't do it because I'm not in a rush for the dill to dry out. So I just lime dry it on a rack in a dry area. And so then I think it takes about a week, to be honest. And then once it's dehydrated, I pack it into a mason jar, and you can see how much is wilted. So this salad, this particular salad, I think I'm going to serve it in a sandwich because it's going to be nice and dressed and it's going to be marinated. I think I know what I'm eating tonight. I'm going to have a spout sandwich with some greens inside it. and some cucumbers. And this is gonna have some homemade dehydrated dill. This is mineral rich for our nervous system, to make sure that we can handle the stress of the world. We're gonna go back tomorrow and take the challenges of the world, you know, face forward. Well, not face forward, that means like you're falling, right? How do we say that? We're gonna charge forth. So we have this, and I'm going to add some sprouts at the end. And a fun fact, some of you may be aware of this, when you're cooking foods, you know, vitamins are volatile. So certain foods that are rich in vitamins, you don't really want to cook them, maybe steam them. And foods that are mineral rich, you don't have to worry too much about cooking them, because minerals are elements, and so you can't really cook them down. So when you think of a broth, you know, with like the ends of your vegetables, you know, it's going to be mineral rich, but you probably would have cooked down the vitamins. However, if you're having a fresh vegetable, you wouldn't have cooked down the vitamins, and so you get both the vitamins and the minerals when you're eating something fresh. So, so this is nice and fresh, and we have this salad done, and I'm going to put this in my sandwich because by the end of this presentation, it's going to be nice and marinated, and I feel like this salad that's marinated is kind of like good in a sandwich, or good with pasta, like mixed with pasta, because then it dresses the pasta. So I'll do that. And now I'll show you what I do in the morning. So if I'm not drinking a lemon water in the morning before I do oil pulling to start my day, I will drink cranberry juice and water. And then after I do that, I do oil pulling with coconut oil. And after that, I make my own green juice. So I get my own natural chlorophyll first thing in the morning. And I do that with a combination of dehydrated herbs, herbal powders, one of them being moringa, another one being turmeric. So I'll show you how to make your own green juice in the morning, just with moringa and some chia seeds if you'd like. So chia seeds are wonderful with omega. Someone is joining us, and chia seeds are also high in minerals and fiber, and they give us a lot of energy. So if you're on the run, if you're a very busy person, chia seeds are also anti-inflammatory. So chia seeds is wonderful to have if you are a busy person that needs to have an easy energy source that is accessible. So I like putting chia seeds in a little bag or a little tiny mason jar in my book bag, so that when I'm on the ground or somewhere and I get delayed and I have my jar and I have a water source, I just drink some chia seeds, and that holds me up so that my blood sugar levels are not crashing too much. And when your blood sugar levels are either spiking or going down, that's actually stressful for our body. So we don't want that. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. I'm going to fill this up a little bit more. So just imagine this water was transparent like this, because that's how it starts in the morning. This was some of the water from the tea. So I just wanted to, I'm going to just reuse it. And then this is the herbal drink I make myself, and this has about 10 different herbs in it. But for the sake of this, I'm going to use moringa. And I get this from the Ayurvedic section at Patel Brothers, but you can get it online or at a holistic market. You can get moringa. And I'm going to do half a teaspoon. You can do a little bit more if you'd like, but I think half a teaspoon is good for this size. And you could also do some turmeric. Now, turmeric is a little bitter. Moringa actually, you know, for something that is a green food, that's a green source, it's actually not that bitter. Moringa has a nice, actually almost plain taste to it. So it's not very strong. And now we have our morning green drink, you know, our own multivitamin mineral source. And that will help you fight free radicals, which will cause aging. And that, you know, we have free radicals from the environment, from stress, from, you know, radioactivity around us, from the Wi-Fi, using technology. So this will help you, you know, fight that. And if you wanted to add energy to it, or if you wanted to have some fiber, or let's say you were feeling constipated, that's another thing. You want to make sure your bowels are moving, then you can add some chia seeds to it. And for this, chia seeds do expand. So I am going to, I'm also going to do half a teaspoon of this. You could do 1/4 teaspoon if you don't want it too like gelatinous. It will get kind of gelatinous, but in fact, I drink it almost right away in the morning, so it never gets to that level. It expands in my stomach. So I give it a good shake. If you're fastidious about texture, I would say do this in a blender, because in that way you have less texture, and maybe add some fruit to it. And I honestly think moringa tastes like nothing. So that's a good way of getting my nutrition source starting in the first thing in the morning. And now I'll show you two ways of using a natural remedy. We talked about hydrotherapy. So I'm going to talk to you now about a compress. And I like doing these compresses with elders, especially like my grandmother. She has a lot of joint pain, or I do this for myself, especially if I get burned. This is really good for wound healing. So I always have cabbage in my home, and cabbage lasts for a while. So that's another wonderful thing. So if someone, you know, has a modest budget and they need to be mindful of how they're spending their money, I would say make sure cabbage is on your shopping cart, or in your shopping cart. In your shopping list. So I'm going to bang it up. And you want to make sure it's well bruised, because you want it to have enough juice to be able to apply directly to the affected area. So let's say your area you're having some pain. I don't know, maybe you're having some joint pain, or you had some bruising, you banged yourself accidentally against something. You're going to want to take that cabbage part. Let's imagine that I hurt my wrist, and I'm going to put the bruised cabbage on my wrist, and I'm going to need to hold it in place. So you can use a reusable cloth, that you can wash, or you can use an actual bandage. So I'm going to use a gauze sponge for this, but you can use reusable cloth. You can use a paper towel. It's just to hold it in place, and so that your ACE bandage, you're going to wrap it in an ACE bandage, it's so that your ACE bandage doesn't get too wet. So you can use what is convenient for you, what is best for you. I have it there, and I put the gauze on top, and now I'm going to hold it in place with my ACE bandage. This one's folded in half, so I think I'll use it folded in half, so I don't have to wrap it up so many times around. All right. So for those of you who have some kind of joint issue, or maybe you're feeling you have a bruise somewhere, try the cabbage poultice and let me know how that goes for you. And the next poultice I'm going to show you, I'm going to take this off for the next tutorial. Thank you, that's perfect. The next tutorial, the last tutorial we're going to do is a castor oil compress. And this you'll want to do if you feel that maybe you have some skin issues. Maybe you just want to do it for beauty. You're feeling that your skin's super dry, or you're feeling that you're experiencing some bloating in a particular area, or you're experiencing like some clumpiness. Always make sure you go see your dermatologist and your primary care physician. This is not a substitute for medical advice. This is just a way of maintaining optimal health in your home. These are remedies that we used to do as a society regularly. So castor oil is wonderful for women, especially for women using as a pack for menstrual pain or for discomfort, fibroids, endometriosis. So yeah, so I even use it for pain management. So let's imagine my wrist is hurting, it's in pain. And I'm going to also use the gauze, but instead of making it the gauze, unfolding it, I'm actually going to make it as thick as possible. So we want something absorbent. Castor oil is best used on a very thick material, such as wool or like a heavy fleece, and it needs to be a natural material. So this is cotton. So you want to make sure that you're using a natural material when you are using castor oil. The natural material that's thick, the wool or the thick cotton or fleece, is going to absorb the castor oil, and that's going to slowly release into your body and support with pain relief or support with breaking down any clumps that you might have. And so I'm going to put that, actually I'm going to put it on this side. I had a little bump actually on this side. So I'm actually going to sleep with this, to be honest. So there, I did my castor oil for that I've been meaning to do. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to ace bandage it. I'm just upcycling the other cabbage one here so that it really goes in. So this is how I'm going to sleep tonight. And I do have wool specifically for castor oil packs that I use when I need it for my back or for my lower abdomen. And those castor oil packs that I use, the ones that are made with wool, you don't have to wash them. You can just continue adding castor oil to them. And I have made my own natural one that I sewed myself. So you can actually buy them. You can buy castor oil packs. So there, I have my natural remedy completed for today, for myself, for optimal health. So I look forward to seeing you at our next workshop. I open the floor to for anybody to ask any questions of anything that came up in my tutorial demonstration this evening. I thank you so much for your patience and for being with us this evening and for learning how to reclaim your health naturally using food as medicine, natural remedies, and herbs. The floor is yours. Do we have any questions? Oh, thank you, Jody. Great presentation. Gracias, Priscila. Oh, saludos, Cristina, desde California. This is the tea. How beautiful is the color? And this was just 1 teaspoon. So we had three teaspoons to make one tablespoon for 1 cup. And look how 1 teaspoon of hibiscus turned this. So this is 1 teaspoon hibiscus, 1 teaspoon lemongrass, and 1 teaspoon basil. And I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know if there are any questions in the chat. Normally we have some questions, so we're I'm so glad that everyone's doing good. So the question here for poll 3 is, would you like to implement anything that you learned today? ¿Usted planea implementar lo que aprendió en el taller de hoy en su vida cotidiana? Where do I get my herbs? I studied at Eden Valley Institute in Colorado, in Loveland, Colorado. And so I buy my herbs from there because they get their herbs from Mountain Rose Herbs and certain other places in bulk. And I actually get my herbs about once or twice a year. So I get a big shipment, and that way it's only a one-time shipment. And I do that because it's the lowest cost for getting, I buy all kinds of herbs. I probably have in my kitchen pantry like 20 different types of herbs. And I have chamomile, I have hops, I have stevia leaf, hibiscus, lemongrass, mullein, so many herbs. The shop, the country store shop, it's a lifestyle center, so they take patients and clients. And so you can call them and ask them for recommendations on what you can take for supplements, because the shop is specifically for their clients, their patients. So they have pretty much anything you can think of for lifestyle and supplementation and for natural remedies and herbs. So Eden Valley Institute in Loveland, Colorado, where I studied. Another place I get my herbs, however, they have a smaller supply. They only have hibiscus, lemongrass, mullein, stinging nettle, red clover. That's about 5. Sometimes they have lavender. And that's at the ABC in Lancaster, the Adventist Book Center. And they have really good prices too, but they have only about 6 herbs, 6 loose leaf herbs. So those are the 2 places I buy my loose leaf herbs, because I can get them at a really good price at in bulk. What's the best site to order herbs from? I would say if you can group up with a bunch of people, or I trust Mountain Rose Herbs. A lot of herbal shops that sell herbs in bulk, that's where they source their herbs from, Mountain Rose Herbs. However, I have yet to purchase a substantial, I buy a lot of herbs, but I don't buy enough herbs for an herb shop. So I haven't found myself buying at Mountain Rose Herbs. But if you can get yourself to shop with a group of people and you split the bulk cost of the herbs, you'll get a huge substantial discount from doing that. Do we have any questions? Okay, yes. So we have our next month's lung and heart health workshop. We have the Eventbrite for the morning registration. We have the Eventbrite for the evening registration. The morning workshop is on sprouting and the medicinal benefits of using sprouts. And so we're going to talk about sprouts for lung and heart health, and different ways. Sometimes we discuss recipes or ways that you can combine them or prepare them, preparation techniques. And then we're going to discuss in the evening food as medicine. So just like tonight, we're going to feature what are specific foods that are specifically helpful for heart health and lung health, what are herbs specifically helpful for lung health and heart health, and what are remedies, natural remedies that are specifically helpful for lung health and heart health. Thank you, Carmen. So if I can leave you with anything, just remember the value of high antioxidant rich foods to maintain your wonderful youthful appearance. The collagen rich okra, the cabbage, how it's wonderful as an emergency first aid in your home and also for natural healing, and a vitamin C rich food for your diet. If you have a modest budget, how wonderful cayenne pepper is as a vitamin C source. And right now, if you could please take a survey, we would love to hear your feedback. We're always looking for ways of knowing how our audience interacts with us, what they're thinking, what they learned, what they suggest us to improve so that we can continue improving our workshops. So if you could please take a couple of minutes to take our survey, we would really appreciate it. This survey is going to help us be able to report back to our sponsor, UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital, on tonight's presentation. Well, actually, all the presentations from November through August is when we do our final presentation. So the culmination of all these surveys, we're going to be presenting them to UMass, to Health Alliance Clinton Hospital. So if you could just take a moment to complete the survey, we would really appreciate it. Just one moment, I'm going to mute for some logistics.
Hi, folks, it's me. I'm just chiming in. Just again, thank you all for attending tonight. We still have about 8 more minutes. We're scheduled to go till 7:30. We'll stay on for a few more minutes as folks continue to fill the survey out. And if you have any final questions, we'll be hanging out here until 7:30 on the dot, and then we'll end the call. So again, thank you all so much for joining. Again, please chime in if you have any more questions.
This is Bonnie, and I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, Bonnie, we can hear you.
Okay, I am not finding the way to go into the survey. And so I'm not sure if that's going to come on the screen after you are off, or if I'm not pushing the right button for it.
Do you have, are you able to find the chat feature? Where do you get the herbs? Oh, I'm going to put another, just one moment, Carmen. Actually, I can email everybody. I think we have everybody's emails, right? We do. I'm going to email everybody where I get the herbs. I think 3 or 4 people asked. So I get mine in bulk because I want to save on shipment and I want to save on cost. So I buy in bulk. And the wonderful thing is that I studied where I get my herbs in bulk in Colorado. So trust me when I tell you the prices are very good. And you can always call the herb shop and ask them to recommend you items. So if you want, you know, aromatherapy or supplements or something, the herbalist, I studied under her. I was her apprentice, and the herbalist is fantastic. And she makes the best salves. So they grow their own herbs to make the salves. So if I'm feeling really special and really indulgent and I want to spoil myself, I get salves from her. I don't know, Bonnie, if it worked. When did I submit survey? It doesn't do anything. When I submit the survey, it doesn't do anything. Oh, that's interesting. Bonnie, I'm going to try to send you the survey directly. I'm going to send the survey again to everyone. Let's see if that works. We can also send the survey as an email. I'm going to craft an email of where I buy my herbs. That's great. I'm really happy that many people are interested in buying herbs. It's been a lifesaver for me to buy herbs in bulk, and I use them year round. And sometimes I actually give my family the gift of herbs. I make them herbal blends, and when I have guests over, I make sure everybody has some immunity boosting tea. And it's good for our overall health, our immunity. So Bonnie, let me know if the survey worked for you. Country store. If you're new to shopping for herbs and you don't really know what you want to buy, you can always ask the country store at Eden Valley to recommend you some herbs. So that's always an option. It's so wonderful to hear everybody's feedback. Thank you. Yeah, please do. Bonnie, Sarah's going to send you the survey. I hope that's helpful. And then One thing I didn't discuss for those who are still here is the value of aromatherapy for stress reduction. And you can do aromatherapy with essential oils. You can also do it if you're on a budget with citrus peels, you know, like the remaining, like say you eat an orange or a tangerine, or you cut up a lemon. Save those peels, dehydrate them, and then you can boil them in water and you get a nice citrusy smell in the home. Or you could do it with cinnamon sticks. You could do it also with pine cones that you forage, or some leftover Christmas tree branches, you know, pine tree branches, some evergreen, so or pine needles that you forage. And so that's very soothing. It's good for your lungs, it's good for your mind, it's good for, it gives you a relaxed state. It's actually good for your immunity too. It cleanses the air. It, you know, if there's any passages in the air, it helps neutralize that, so it helps cleanse the air. So aromatherapy, we didn't really talk about it, but that's another way of reducing stress and increasing quality of life. All right, thank you, Camilo. Bye. Yes, why I use wool or natural cloth for castor oil? Yes. The reason to use wool or a natural cloth is, one, you want it to be natural because it's going to be sitting on your skin. So you don't want something synthetic on your skin with the castor oil, because the castor oil is it's very thick and it's going to bind to that material and it's going to make it stick to your material. So our skin is our largest body organ and it breathes. So it's going to absorb whatever is on it. And it's going to be literally breathing that synthetic fabric. And so you don't want that. And also you want a very absorbent fabric like wool or heavy cotton, because you want to lather the castor oil on it. You want to put a lot of castor oil on it. It's going to absorb into it. And that way it slow releases into your skin. And so you have this, you know, long flow of castor oil going into your skin, which over time it starts breaking down any clumping or anything malignant that's happening, or any inflammation, or even, let's say you just have bruising or scar. It also breaks down scar tissue. So over time. And it can help reduce, you know, for beauty aspects, it can help reduce the appearance of stretch marks. If you're interested in that. And it also helps reduce the appearance of blemishes and scarring on your face or on your skin. So you can use it on your hands, and it helps your hair grow. So some people just use castor oil more so for their hair health or their scalp health, but there's so many wonderful practices that you can use castor oil for. I hope that answers your question, Bonnie, on why you need a thick material that's natural for using castor oil, because you will be using castor oil for at least 2 to 6 hours at a time, or overnight when you're sleeping. So it's a very long time for your skin to be smothered in that material.
Okay, and then is it okay to have it a plastic wrap after that to keep it from seeping out?
Yes, so that would be the last item. You can definitely do that, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You just don't want something with plastic on your skin with the castor oil, or something synthetic on your skin with castor oil.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Bonnie, I sent you an email with the survey. So at your own leisure, your own time, please, if you want to, please submit. Thanks so much. That's it. I think we're at time now. We're at 7:34. Thanks for our last folks who stuck around with us. And that's it for tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. I'll be emailing everybody who attended with where to shop for your herbs. Thank you so much.
Hi, Mom. Last one standing. You're probably sewing right now. I'm kicking you. Bye. Okay, we did it.
I feel like partying afterwards. It's always like a challenge to like reach this point. It's like, what am I gonna present? Do I have enough? Do I have enough? I didn't even need the cucumbers. Marnish, are you still here?
I am still here.
High
Oh, you
five!
did really good. That was really, really good. Oh, it's still recording, but that was really good.
I'll stop recording.
You were like spot on with